we go.
How do you think it went today?
I think it went really well. I came out here Saturday to be able to work out with the guys and make sure we're going over the script for a good 3 days before we get out here. So it felt like a normal week of practice, and being able to come out here on game day was fun. So.
What have you been working on specifically in Orange County?
Yeah, I think really my lower half, being able to engage a lot of my posterior chain. I'm a very quad dominant guy, so for me to be able to use the ground, not only with just spreading my feet out and being able to engage my glutes and my hamstrings more, has really been able to help me rotate a lot better. That's where you see things like the 62 miles an hour and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, the Shrine Bowl, the Combine, and now this. How are things kind of progressing for you during the offseason?
They're doing exactly that. They're progressing. I'm getting better every day, feel better every day, and continuing to go on this climb. And so, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying every second of it, and I'm just happy to be where I am right now. So.
What were those experiences like for you?
Super fun, only because I got to spend it with 3 other teammates or more at each event. So always having some familiarity and always having someone to connect with has definitely been big for me and huge for me. So just being able to lean on these guys has been huge.
How many teams have you met with between a couple of events?
I've met with, I would say maybe a handful. I don't know if my agents will allow me to say the names of the teams, but yeah, I've met with a handful for sure.
How do you feel those meetings went? Was there anything about them that were surprising to you, or is it kind of what everybody had prepped you for?
Yeah, I think the meetings down in Indianapolis were a little interesting, the formal meetings. Each team up there kind of had their own little deal before starting the meeting. I know when I walked into one meeting, I got a basketball thrown at me and I had to make free throws, and I missed all but one. So they definitely knew not to put me on the basketball team. But it's for the most part, it's been what I expected, and being able to really just, like I said, show who I am. Show what I bring to the table and my knowledge of the game and everything that Coach Kelly and all the coaches here have taught me has been really fun. So.
Did they tell you why they had you shoot free throws?
No, it's like some teams have you hold a basketball, some teams have you or hold a football, some teams have you do mini putt and all that stuff. So it's fun. They try to make it fun for us at the same time, I'm sure.
How are you kind of managing, obviously like there's the work that you're kind of putting in and you have certain opportunities to showcase yourself, but with the draft ultimately, it's kind of out of your control. Mm-hmm. As you go into something like that, how are you kind of managing your expectations?
Not having any. I think that's probably the biggest part of it is, it's not up to me. I can control what I can control. Focus on my teammates, focus on, the time I have left here, and just going through this thing and taking it on full head of steam. Not really going in with any expectations or any doubts, just going in there ready to work and have a smile on my face every day.
Obviously during your 5 years here at UCLA, I think, mm-hmm. right, you had to kind of gradually won over the fan base, and here you're kind of having to convince teams to take a chance on you. Mm-hmm. Do you feel any kind of similarities there, I guess, in terms of like feeling that you have to prove something to people or show something to people? Or
no, I think it's at the end of the day, it's about the narrative that you want to put out there. I think there's a bunch of different narratives about me from my 5 years of being here, with how many years I played and the type of success levels that I've had over the 5 years. So I get it, I understand it. At the same time, I know what I bring to the table, I know what I'm working towards. So just being able to show the teams how much I've grown and the growth level that's there, I think is probably the biggest part of my game that is so intriguing.
I'm sure you're aware of some of the criticism, right?
Yeah.
Right. So when
very aware.
Okay. So what do you say when, right? I think people kind of question, okay, can he make kind of that gimme play, right? Yeah. Maybe he's not consistent enough. When you hear stuff like that, what do you think?
I think for me, if you check over the last 2 years and really watch the tape, you'll see that there's a different player out there than the assumption that's put out there before I even step on the field. So like I said, that's kind of what I'm going in with. I know I wasn't the best player in my first 2 years here, and really even in COVID. So, but I guarantee you that there's not many players film out there that can compete with our last 2 years here, I'd say. So at a consistent high level like we were doing. And so I think that's what I'll lean on. It's just, like I said, how much I've grown. A lot of the stuff I've learned that maybe guys that have had plenty of success their whole careers haven't gotten to learn yet. And so, the NFL is you can't go undefeated all the time in the NFL. You're not going to blow guys out all the time in the NFL. So I think all the adverse situations that I went through, I think will help me, as well as my teammates here in the long haul. So.
Do you have any thoughts of what you might do if you don't get drafted?
I have no thoughts at all.
Okay.
I do. I have business plans and all that stuff, and I've made plenty of connections, but I'm not worried about that stuff right now. I know football is going to work.
Okay. I mean, would you go somewhere, right? I mean, let's theoretically say an NFL opportunity doesn't work out. Are you willing to kind of, say, CFL or something like that to kind of play out the dream, so to speak?
I think that's more of a question for about 2 months from now. Okay. But like I said, my goal is I was out here in front of a million of NFL scouts and not CFL or XFL scouts. So right now my mindset's on the NFL until I hear otherwise.
Now, has the idea of like position change, has that been brought up to you at all, like in any capacity at all?
It actually, so I don't think anybody else knows this. I actually had a plan to try and do some stuff. Just try and, show a different look. Again, add value to myself and be able to show that I can do all things on the field. Really didn't even have time for it. Teams really didn't want to see all that anyway. They want to see me as a quarterback, and so I was all for that, obviously.
So you're encouraged by that?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Is there anyone you've leaned on who's gone through this process, who's in the NFL, that you talk with or is mentoring you or anything?
Yeah, I think all the guys that I've played with that have gotten drafted over the years have had millions of phone calls from me. Whether it was before the Shrine game, because I had Q Lake and Kyle Phillips there last year, or whether it was at the Combine with all those guys that went last year as well. So, those guys are all best friends. We'll all talk till, the day we die. And so I've been able to chop it up with a bunch of them for sure and be able to get some insight and some stuff to expect along the way. So.
Yeah. And then speaking of guys that got drafted, obviously you lost, Dulcich and Phillips to the draft last year. How do you feel, that impacted your growth as a player this past season?
I think still, you have to keep the main thing. I think that's one thing that Coach Kelly and the staff here does a really good job of, making sure that we understand. If you come in the building with the right mindset, you come in the week with the things that you need to do and get those things done, that, you'll be all right no matter who's on the field. And I think that goes back to the way even Coach Kelly recruits. He's not going to recruit the 5 stars, 4 stars. He's going to get the guys that want to come in here and work. The guys that want to be better every day and make something out of it. And so, I think we're more so happy and excited for those guys to be able to get a new opportunity rather than just worrying about us.
What is it like working? Is it Jordan Palmer?
Yep.
What is it? I've seen him, I think, in some of your videos. He was out here today, if I'm not mistaken. What has it been like working with him?
It's been awesome. I actually have known Jordan since 2017, my senior year in high school. He was one of the coaches at the opening in the Elite 11. So he's been my quarterback coach, I'd say, for quite some time now. So we've had a really good relationship, and it was a no-brainer. As soon as I was done with the season, I was going to go down to Orange County and work with him, as well as his assistant, Mike White. And so, yeah, man, it's been super fun, super blessed to be able to work with him. He's put us on to, me and my whole training group, on to so many different things, both on and off the field with, connections, as well as being able to teach us how to play quarterback at a high level. So.
Is it Hendon, Hooker, and Max Duggan are over there too, if I'm not mistaken?
It's Hendon Hooker, Max Duggan, Will Levis, and Clayton Toon. That's the 5 of us, or 6 of us.
What have you learned from maybe some of those guys, or bouncing ideas or experiences off of each other?
Yeah, I think really the main thing for me was that, I'm enough as a player and as a person. You're thinking that they come from the SEC, they come from a really great season, and those guys still need to work on stuff too. And those are a lot of things that we talk about. Is stuff's not easy, being a high level quarterback and working towards that. So I think that's the biggest thing, is we just try to lean on each other. We become really close. Those are going to be some of my best friends once we get onto our respective teams. But I really appreciate those guys for sure.
It's talking to you right now. It seems like you're kind of in a good headspace and you'll kind of be okay with however this thing turns out. I mean, is the feeling kind of that maybe you feel you've done everything you could to put yourself in a good place, and kind of whatever happens at this point?
Yeah, I think there's probably 2 things to that. I think one, just going back to your first question, you can't really control things outside of your control. So I think just knowing that, and that makes me be able to stay present in every moment. And so, like I said, I'm really present with you guys right now, enjoying this interview. And when I go back, I'll be present with my family and make sure I'm enjoying time with them. So my mind's not on the draft, and my mind's not on none of that stuff. It's about, executing pro day and making sure that this is the best day of my life so far.
Now that you've had a couple months to kind of maybe reflect back on, this past season and maybe even your entire career, what do you kind of make of, your whole journey here at UCLA?
I'd say I miss it. No, it's been a wild ride. I go back and watch that tape all the time, whether it's from my sophomore year, my freshman year, or this past season. You know, just all the memories that I've made here, all the lifelong friendships that I've been able to get. And, you know, I'm just so happy to be here and you know, finish this thing off right, I'd say.
So are you living in Orange County right now?
I am.
Okay.
I'm actually about to go down there after today and move all my stuff down to Vegas. So.
Oh, okay. Do you still get like test nightmares?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. I'm so happy I'm done with school, though.
Okay.
I'm all graduated. My mom just got her diploma in the month, like a month ago.
There you go.
So I'm like, I'm good.
I was gonna say, yeah, like after 5 years here at UCLA, like your routines, your habits, like everything just
Oh yeah,
changed on you,
it's
right?
a lot more free time, a lot more time for you to, you know, whether you're gonna get better or you're gonna, you know, lay on the couch all day. So that's probably the one thing about the NFL. It really is a business, and you really have to make sure that you're getting your stuff done because nobody's gonna tell you. So,
Cool.
thank you guys.